He has hit high notes and sophisticated notes in many of his classes, having taken 16 honors and AP classes, earning him a spot in the Cum Laude Society. He has performed in several NMH theater productions and plied the waters of the Connecticut with his teammates as an oarsman. As one of the drivers behind the Campus Carnivore's Tuesday night destination Hayden Grill, Daniel and his dorm mates turned those burgers into philanthropy, donating generously to several local charities. We wish him well next year at Yale University, but first, it's my honor and pleasure to present the Northfield Mount Hermon Salutatorian of the class of 2014, Daniel Packard.
In just a few days' time, I feel there is one major question we need to ask ourselves to be sure that our time here has had value and staying power in our lives over the years. How has NMH changed you? There is an incredible amount of activity here that goes into how you develop over the course of 4 years, if you've been lucky enough to be here that long, ranging from your academic learning, to your work job or other work outside of classes, to your social life. Each of these has had an effect, I'm sure, and some have changed you more than others. Now, NMH is a school, first and foremost, and it would be a shame, not to mention a waste of up to 4 years and $200,000, thanks Mom and Dad, to leave it feeling like you know nothing more than you did when you came in. Still, we are a preparatory school. All or almost all of us are headed off to college either next year or the year after that, and it may seem like all our learning here is only to prepare us for that, rather than for anything else in our lives. Moving forward through the changes NMH creates, we take our work outside of the classroom and see substantial changes to our work ethics and our interests because of what we do when we aren't sitting at a desk. Finally, do you know how much your friends have influenced you? How different your tastes are in music, clothes, and even literature from when you came in because of your peers and their thoughts and opinions influences on you? Any high school can change you, but NMH has gone above and beyond in trying to open us up to new experiences and give us opportunities to change if we so desire. So first, we skim by the classroom. Is there anything that stands out to you that you've learned here? Any facts or lists or data tables that you can instantly recall as having had an effect on your life? Or how about the innumerable essays written on books and current events? Do you remember those? I don't. Some of them have temporarily slipped my mind. Many I've forgotten entirely, and others I have a slight grasp on still. A few events here or there have stuck with me, as I'm sure some have with you, but most are gone. Sure, I remember the fundamental theorem of calculus, for now, and I can recite to you the process a cell goes through during mitosis, but these things have not made much of an impact on my life. Not yet, and such data points never will. The academic learning I've experienced here has been stellar. The education has been beyond anything I've experienced before, unsurprisingly, and I have had ample opportunity to expand in basically every direction. I stand here before you because of my academic work. Clearly this isn't the issue, but it isn't where I feel I've grown the most at NMH either. Not all work is academic, as I'm sure you all know. For me, one of the most important lessons I learned at NMH was as far away from the classroom as I could get, standing in the dish room of Alumni Hall. I had 3 semesters of work job in the dish room in my first 2 years here, and what I learned there has already been useful in my life outside of NMH. First off, I learned how to work. Not in an academic sense, though it applies, but more how to do what I was told, well and efficiently, without complaining. No, it wasn't the most fun work, or the most stimulating, but there were jobs that needed to be done, and it was my job to do them. I remember during my first semester here, I worked on Friday mornings with Tenzin Maselli, a crew post-grad and a bright and engaged student. Neither of us particularly enjoyed the work, but we were tasked every Friday morning at 7 a.m. to get the chairs down off the tables as quickly as possible. We turned it into a game immediately. We worked together on one table after another, getting into a rhythm and quickly unstacking chairs. For some reason, only the south side of Alumni Hall had the chairs stacked, so we weren't doing the entire dining area. But the one day we timed ourselves, we got all those chairs down in under 5 minutes. I also learned to accept that my work there was only really ever a temporary success. The tables I had cleaned were about to get messy again, The dishes I had washed and put away were about to be laden with spaghetti and tomato sauce, and a glass pane in the door I wasn't even done cleaning yet found itself with a new smudged handprint as people walked through and couldn't be bothered to open the doors by the brass handles. A final part of learning how to work was learning how to show the best side of myself while on the job. In essence, to never complain, and to always be courteous and helpful, even when I don't want to be there or working. After freshman year, I learned also to ask, at the end of a task, what else I could do. Showing my work job supervisors that I wanted to continue working, that I was eager, or at least very willing, to tackle the next project, was great practice for my life ahead as I tried to impress my boss the next summer. I worked during the summer after my sophomore year at a landscaping company, Race Rock Garden, where I planted trees and flowers and regraded a lot of lawns. I was not a perfect employee. I didn't always enjoy the work, and there were many times that I just wanted to give up and go home. However, my time in the dish room at NMH helped me get through these moments and work through the boredom or through the thick thorn bushes. I succeeded in impressing my boss that summer with my good work ethic and generally good attitude, and by doing so, secured myself a job for this next summer and for part of this coming one. Clearly, my work at present has been greatly influenced by NMH. I got and kept my summer job because of it. But recently I've been asking myself, how will NMH affect what I'm doing after this? The answer came to me as clearly as I thought of the people around me and realized it would be through my friends. The connections you build here can be incredibly strong bonds and can pull you around into trying many different things. For instance, I went to Russia last summer with a group from NMH because a few of my closest friends were going and hoped I would too. Thank you, Caroline Lynn. The trip itself was incredible and created in me a strong desire to learn more about the history, culture, and even the literature of that country. But it also showed me the power of my friends to influence my interests and the power NMH has, not only to give me a chance to go to Russia, but to meet people who would challenge my way of thinking and expose me to new ideas, new thoughts, and new experiences. In Russia, our group stayed busy constantly, especially in Moscow, where we were for the first week of the trip. We had very little free time outside of the group. However, one of my friends on the trip, Eddie Yanko, found some spare time and took it to find more ways to expand his horizons. If you don't know, he is one of the biggest theater buffs that has ever come through this school, and in true Eddie fashion, he tried to see Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard in Moscow, completely in Russian, just to see the play and the staging, even without comprehending the language. He was a student, recently graduated, who took initiative beyond what our faculty had planned and organized a wonderful excursion for any of us, and it turned out to be every one of us who wanted to go. I sat through an hour or two of a play I barely knew the story of, in a language I don't understand, and still learned an enormous amount about theater and how actors in the staging can interact without understanding the plot. Many of us were tired, and some were quite literally falling asleep in our chairs during the performance. But I remember seeing Eddie sitting on the edge of his chair, leaning over the balcony railing, just trying to soak it all in. It was amazing to me to watch a young man so enamored with his craft that he was that engaged with a play he couldn't completely understand. And I was grateful to NMH for allowing me opportunities like this to experience what I wanted at a spectacular level. I hope you will remember NMH in terms like this. It has offered us all some spectacular opportunities, both on campus and abroad. It has allowed us to study what we love at a high level and given us space to explore it beyond normal high school means. For Eddie, this meant being able to watch a Chekhov play in Russia. For me, it meant singing part of the Mass in St. Peter's Basilica, this March in the Vatican. For others of you, it may have meant more local acts, like helping in Piglets to Hoggers or teaching French to elementary school students. NMH has created an environment where it isn't strange for a senior to be in either algebra survey or linear algebra. It has allowed us to explore what we want to, which I thank it for. Even more than that, I thank NMH for facilitating my friendships here and for exposing me to so many more things through my connections than I ever would have experienced on my own. I wouldn't have looked for a play to see in Russia that summer, but I saw one anyways because I knew Eddie. He pulled me into his harebrained scheme that got us lost on the subway in Moscow, where we might still be if a wonderful older woman hadn't led us through some back alleys to the theater we were looking for. He, like many other people at NMH, has given me an experience that I will likely never forget, and that has the potential to change what I'm interested in, what I study in the future, and what I want to do. We've all changed so much because of this school. To the four-year seniors out there, do you all remember what we were like freshman year?